What if I told you the iPhone 18 could change everything we know about Apple's charging technology? Hold on to your current charger because what's coming next might make it look ancient. We're talking about bigger batteries, faster charging speeds, and even support for Apple's long-rumored foldable iPhone. Plus, there's a twist about storage prices that could hit your wallet harder than expected. And if that wasn't enough, Siri is finally getting the brain upgrade we've been waiting for since 2022. Today, we're diving deep into everything we know about the iPhone 18's charging capabilities, the storage controversy that's brewing, and why your digital assistant is about to get a lot smarter. I'm going to break down all the latest leaks, rumors, and industry insights that are painting a picture of Apple's most ambitious iPhone yet. Let's start with the charging situation, because this is where things get really interesting. Apple has already moved all recent iPhone models to USB-C charging after years of sticking with their Lightning port. This change happened because of global regulatory shifts, and honestly, it was about time. The iPhone 18 series is expected to continue with USB-C, but here's where it gets exciting. USB-C opens the door to much faster wired charging speeds compared to what we had with Lightning ports. Now, Apple hasn't confirmed exact wattage figures for the iPhone 18 yet, but industry insiders are expecting some serious improvements. We're talking about Apple's focus on efficiency and battery performance finally paying off in ways users will actually notice. Think about how frustrating it is when your phone dies at the worst possible moment. Or when you're rushing out the door and realize you forgot to charge overnight. The iPhone 18 might finally solve these everyday problems with genuinely faster charging. But wired charging is just part of the story. Wireless charging through MagSafe remains a huge part of Apple's ecosystem strategy. Current MagSafe wireless chargers can deliver up to 25 watts to recent iPhones when you pair them with the right adapter. This standard is expected to carry over to the iPhone 18 lineup, but Apple might refine MagSafe alignment and efficiency. You know how sometimes you put your phone on the MagSafe charger and come back to find it barely charged because it shifted slightly? Those kinds of issues could become a thing of the past. So what can we realistically expect from iPhone 18 charging and power delivery? First, USB-C ports will handle wired charging, data transfer, and accessory support. Second, faster wired charging potential compared with earlier iPhone models. Third, MagSafe wireless charging will likely stick at 25 watts, but with better Key 2 standard support. And fourth, we're looking at much better battery management through both hardware and software improvements. Now let's talk about the battery technology itself, because this is where Apple might be making their biggest leap. Battery improvements across the iPhone 18 lineup are expected to be more than just incremental boosts. The Pro Max version of the iPhone 17 had a battery around 4823 to 5088 mAh, depending on the specific configuration. Apple typically increases capacity slightly or fine-tunes efficiency with each new generation. But here's where the leaks get really interesting. Industry sources are pointing to new silicon carbon cell types that can hold significantly more energy without making the phone any thicker. This is huge because one of Apple's biggest design constraints has always been keeping iPhones thin and lightweight. If they can pack more battery capacity into the same space, that's a win for everyone. And then there are the rumors about Apple's foldable iPhone coming with a 5500 mAh battery. This suggests Apple is definitely pushing capacity higher, especially for devices with larger screens. It makes sense when you think about it. Foldable phones need more power to run larger displays and more complex hinge mechanisms. But the technology Apple develops for foldables will likely trickle down to regular iPhones too. One thing people often forget is that charging performance depends heavily on the power adapter you're using. For peak wired speeds, Apple currently recommends a 30-watt or higher USB-C adapter for optimal MagSafe charging and USB-C performance. So even if the iPhone 18 supports faster charging, you might need to upgrade your power brick to take advantage of it. Based on everything we're seeing, iPhone 18 models will build on existing charging technology rather than completely reinventing it. USB-C and improved MagSafe standards should make everyday charging much smoother and more reliable. The incremental battery improvements promise longer usage time between charges. We'll get exact numbers for charging rates and battery sizes as launch details become clearer later this year. But there's another story brewing around the iPhone 18 that could affect your wallet in unexpected ways. One of the biggest questions facing Apple right now is how the current RAM crisis will affect iPhone 18 pricing. The iPhone is Apple's most important product, and Tim Cook has some tough decisions to make. Does Apple absorb the rising cost of memory to keep iPhone prices stable? Or does the company bet that iPhones are such an essential part of people's lives that they can raise prices without losing customers? There's potentially a third option that's much more sneaky. Apple could raise the cost of the iPhone 18 Pro lineup without making it obvious by moving the goalposts. Here's what I mean. In 2025, Apple decided not to offer a 128GB iPhone 17 Pro base storage option. Anyone wanting the Pro model at the lowest price had to choose the 256GB iPhone 17 Pro and pay an extra $100. That's actually a pretty clever business move when you think about it. The memory chips that provide iPhone storage are soldered directly to the logic board. These chips cost Apple much less than the price increase they pass on to customers. So they can increase prices, save money on manufacturing, and offer the benefit of more storage. Of course, it's really just a forced upgrade that increases revenue per phone without adding any actual new features. Analyst Craig Moffett from MoffettNathanson thinks Apple could repeat this same strategy with the iPhone 18 Pro. They could drive up prices by increasing base storage requirements again. But I don't think that's Apple's actual plan, and here's why. If Apple used storage as a way to raise prices this year, the starting configuration would probably need to be 512 gigs. That would likely mean adding a 2TB option to regular iPhone 18 Pro models and reducing options for Pro Max customers. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who has a solid track record predicting Apple's moves, doesn't think the company will raise prices this September. According to Kuo, Apple will absorb the higher costs and use the market chaos to actually bring in more customers. Looking at Apple's history supports this theory. The last time Apple removed a storage option was back in 2021 when they got rid of 64GB space storage. Before that, it was 2017 with the iPhone X when Apple removed 32GB as the lowest storage option. If this video helped you understand what's coming with the iPhone 18, hit that like button and subscribe for more Apple news and rumors. And ring the notification bell so you don't miss any updates as we get closer to the official announcement. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.